Everybody, it's Alexander A. Manzoni, and we're going to have a live feed here from me doing stuff. I got a show going on here. They came to the apartment building with no name at 5th Avenue and Hemlock. It wasn't quite as old as many of the structures in this area, although it was still quite old. It was 2 stories, with a long sloped roof on the north side that extended into an awning, forming a modest carport. It was built from brick and painted an unassuming sandy color that matched the dusty environment that existed here during the dry summer months. Pete and Eddie quickly scaled the smaller stoop staircase that led to the first level. "Knee deep in pussy or what? Casey is shit out of luck," said Pete, turning away to pound on 5B with closed fists. "Yo, Casey, it's Pete! Pete Scarborough, open up!" No answer. The lights were on, yes, but the curtains were also drawn. So, in all likelihood, Casey did not wish to be bothered. Pete and Eddie took this as a mere suggestion and continued knocking vehemently while praying for some kind of answer. Eddie looked over his shoulder. A spotlight was moving through the area. A couple blocks north by the park, it was no doubt attached to a law enforcement vehicle. "Digits, open the door!" pleaded Pete, almost beginning to cry. The door to 5B fence reluctantly opened. A crack. "Petey," said a gruff voice, hoarse with decades of chain-smoking cigarettes and thousands of bowls of crystal meth. He sounded a lot like the character Ned from South Park. He talks by pressing an amplifier to his trachea, or rather, lack thereof. "Now, this ain't about the money I owe your old man, is it?" hesitantly replied Casey. "No, Casey, it ain't." "All right, good. Come on in, I guess." Pete and Eddie hurriedly entered the apartment. Casey slammed the door behind them and locked it with a stubby nubs of his fingers. Back in 2009, when bath salts first came out, Casey Daniel Mankiewicz was all over that shit with a gusto that only a truly unrepentant drug addict could vigorously exhibit. The specific drugs in question were methylene dioxyparaverolone, aka MDPV, bath salts. There was also methylene dioxymethacathinone, aka MCAT, aka mephedrone, aka meow meow, quite possibly the dumbest name for a drug that I've ever heard outside of the latest Jonah Hill Channing Tatum vehicle. Oh, it was fun at first. The drugs, they were cheap and easily obtained through the now defunct by the milligram.com that operated on the internet through Thailand. It sold a variety of oddball drugs before the deep web became a thing. Casey stocked up on $40 grams of MDPV and $20 grams of the MCAT. While the getting was good. And the getting was good for Casey, that is until he began to experience vasoconstriction. Initially, it began as a clammy sensation in his fingers and toes and progressed until his extremities became quite cold, room temperature. As a matter of fact, it was odder still that Casey felt very hot, muy caliente, in the rest of his body. An experienced veteran of the game, Casey thought nothing of it until his hands and feet turned a deep, sickly azure that went to greenish charcoal darkness. By the time he got to the hospital, it was too late. Gangrene had set in, and the doctors had to amputate the tips of all of his fingers and toes, hence the nickname Digits. They said he was lucky that he kept his penis. Can you call that luck? I guess you can. But he could never masturbate the same way again. Don't ask him how he does it now. No, really, don't. Don't for the love of all that is holy. The living room was sad and bare, except for a beat-up brown couch collapsing in on itself, a raggedy navy blue recliner, the small wooden entertainment center covered in dust, and the shitty gray 24-inch tube television that was sitting upon it. Across the room, at the kitchen sink, was a ribald woman, a hooker, who was rinsing out her mouth, bent over under the spigot. It did smell a bit salty in there now that you mention it. When the sleazy mama turned, brushing the excess fluids off from her lips, he quickly recognized her as one of his sister Cheyenne's friends. "Hiya, Trish," said Pete. "I haven't seen you in a minute." "Wow, Pete," Trish said. "I haven't seen you in a minute either. You look like shit." "Hey, thanks. Hey, remember Eddie?" "Sure, I remember when that lousy drunk went and borrowed my car back in 2008. "So, Pete," interrupted Casey as he stumbled over to the couch with his characteristic unsteady gait and plopped himself down in the squeaky recliner. "What the fuck brings you to this side of town?" Just seeing how you're doing is all." "Uh-huh. And we may or may not be hiding from the cops." "Shit, you two backpacks didn't kill somebody, did you?" No. Just a minor misunderstanding. You know how that is. Cross my heart, it's nothing too serious." "Serious enough the way he was banging on my door, I reckon." "Yeah, can we hide in your shower for a few?" "Jesus, Christmas cake and crackers, you fucking kids have a lot of nerve. I'm still on parole." "Yeah, and I just got out of the joint, so what? No big deal." Casey stood at the door and religiously examined what was behind the peephole. A cop car. Not the same one that crashed into Nash's truck. That one was fucked. It crept down the street from the north, sweeping its floodlight in 180-degree arcs. Casey motioned to his two uninvited guests. Go, go! They fled into the bathroom and closed the door as swiftly and as noise-free as possible. Pete and Eddie took this as a cue to do some of that dope that they went through so much to acquire, because naturally it is a great idea to imbibe a drug that makes one paranoid when the cops are looking for you. Take that as a lesson of the day from Pete and Eddie. They are full of practical little gems of wisdom, such as that. Tom, this. Stand in front. 25 minutes and 37 seconds later. Guys, said Casey, I think it's cool to come out. There was some banging around. It sounded as if someone had become entangled on a shower curtain and tripped over the tub. Actually, that was a pretty accurate description of what happened. Hey, said Casey, now somewhat disconcerted. The fuck you assholes doing in there? This ain't a goddamn playground. The door unlocked and slowly swung open. Pete and Eddie emerged, red-faced and wired from shots of crystal. As they left the room, Casey looked in and saw muddy footprints and spatters of coagulated blood all over the floor, in and on the side of the tub. Seriously? Asked Casey. And that is why I haven't been getting much sleep, said Eddie to Pete, gesticulating with his hands much more than normal or was ever necessary. They returned to the living room and sat down on the couch, sandwiching Trish in between themselves. Casey remained in the bathroom in a state of damage control. I wouldn't be getting much sleep either, not that I wouldn't be getting much sleep later either, not that I ever do, replied matter-of-factly Pete. His words a little more swollen than usual, his mouth dry and sticking together between syllables, his logic not making that much sense, at least not lately. I'm telling you, man, it's fucked up. There's a lot of traffic back there. I'll bet. I'm not joking.
Where's that?
Asked Trish. She disdainfully rolled her eyes. Under the bridge, said Eddie. The one over by Trent and Hamilton.
Oh, yeah,
said Trish.
by the mission. I banged a guy back there one time.
I bet you have, thought Pete and Eddie simultaneously. Every time I get to sleep, some other dick factory with a backpack comes back there, stumbling around trying to make camp, scraping his fucking pipe, asking me for rolling papers. It's a pain in the goddamn balls. You know, I'd let you stay at the old man's, but there ain't exactly much room in the camper as it is. Yeah, and I'd have Hitler crawling up my ass from dusk till dawn in that motherfucker. What? Asked Trish with an arched, penciled-in eyebrow. That's his dad's cat's name, said Eddie, pointing his index finger at Pete.
Oh, I get it now. Man, your dad's fucked up.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Ed, I know you probably heard this already, but have you guys got the word about that guy going around Spokane and, like, beating up homeless people within an inch of their lives? Yeah! Excitedly said Ed, getting a little bit tongue-tied with his words. I saw that guy got hit last week when I was chilling over in the day room at the HOC. He got fucked up pretty bad. His head's all wrapped up like a newborn baby. He got a patch over one of his eyes, too. More likely than not, he's going to be blinded. Well, you better watch your back out at night, man, Eddie. The shit out there is getting craggy. Fucked up thing is, this ain't the first time this guy's been hit. No shit. Yeah, this guy has the worst fucking luck in the world. Not like he goes looking for trouble either. Sometimes he got the shit beat out of him when he was sleeping. Any idea who this fucktard is? Does anybody have a clue? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so. The other guys living on the street, just say it's a well-dressed white dude. He's mid-20s to 50s. Asshole just goes around clubbing the shit out of people sleeping on the goddamn ground. Nice. Oh my God, exclaimed Trish. You're telling me slumming it ain't what it used to be. Poor folks just can't catch a break these days, said Pete. Hell, look at how they changed the downtown sit-in-line laws last year. It's got all the backpacks up and pissed the fuck off. Not like they ain't always pissed the fuck off at something anyway, but still.
I mean, say what you will about the homeless issue. Yeah, they're all over the place in the city, and yeah, they're creepy. And yeah, they're always bumming change or smokes or want to use your phone and get their nasty face grease stains all over the screen. But come on, do what the rest of the city does and just ignore them. Act like they're not there. Don't be all, ooh, get away from me during the day, and then stalk the streets at night, beating their skulls in with sticks and big fucking pieces of pipe. And that's exactly what I'm saying, yo, said Eddie. That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, I am technically homeless, but do I consider myself a bum? No, man. I don't fly a sign. I don't go around trying to get change off every dick I see walking around the sidewalk. But these dicks, these pale-faced dicks on the street, they always fuck with me. Always gotta be fucking with my personal business, with my life. One day, I swear I'm gonna snap, and that'll be the end of it. Oh boy, here it goes again. The levee breaks. Then came sudden hollering from the bathroom. What's with all this goddamn shit in my tub, boys? Casey came stomping back into the living room with a filthy, dripping, pinkish brown rag in his left hand. He was without a shirt, wearing blue and white striped track pants and floppy, too big Nike sandals made in Bangladesh by tired and abused children. His pale, sweaty, white gut shone with a visibly apparent corona amidst the glare of two bare 45-watt bulbs in the ceiling. With fingers and toes or without, Casey was not an especially easy person to look at by any means. His face seemed a Greco-Roman statue, yes, one that was left outside and exposed to acid rain for an indeterminate period of time and had survived Axis and Allied shelling during World War II. Casey was a man whose former good looks were evident, One could see that he may have used to look handsome, but all that melted away with drugs and stress and bad living. All that was left was only the bare essentials of his organic composition, and those essentials were ragged and uncomfortable for a normal person to look at without feeling some small feeling of dismay or disgust. Why, he preferred to walk around without a shirt as anybody's guess, with his thinning hair receding like the GDP of Liberia, dyed jet black and slicked back with a product called Bergamot's Choice All-Natural Wax Pomade, accompanying his melted, dentally impaired features. He was somebody who readily scared small children on the streets, as well as their mothers and other next of kin.
Lousy punks can't clean up after yourselves, huh?
Said Casey.
There was blood all over my tongue. Leave it to tweakers to shit on everything in sight. That's why we can't leave nice things out.
Nice things? You? Nice things? Laughed Pete. And anyways, we would have gotten it eventually. I mean, come on, we would have cleaned up after ourselves. Pete, come on, we're not animals. Come on, Casey, we're not animals. It was not a statement that could be regarded as a truthful one by any means. But as an addict, one sometimes begins to lie without thinking or apprehension, as legerdemain is one more tool in the old bag of tricks.
Yeah, that's right,
Remarked Eddie.
we would've, but you were so hell-bent on getting us out of that bathroom.
Yeah, we thought the world was coming to an end the way you were carrying on like that. Do you need a hit of something? Digits? Is that what crawled up your butt? Huh? Would you enjoy a hit or two to get you going? Casey flinched slightly with a nervous tick and fiddled a bit with the rag in his hand, twisting and squeezing it until it was wrung, practically dry. The droplets that fell from its corners were less water than they were diluted blood and mud.
No, thank you,
Stated Casey.
No longer do I suck at the devil's dick. Thank you very much.
This caused Pete and Eddie to crack up, especially in how Casey said it, so matter-of-factly, with each syllable precisely enunciated and building in volume. You gotta be shitting me, said Pete. Who are you putting all this on for? Is it for Trish? You know, she's a hoe. Trish don't give a fuck.
Shut the hell up before I got to slap some sense in that empty head of yours. Don't you kids have somewhere to go? A Sadie Hawkins dance? Maybe a cooking class? Don't look at me like that. I don't know what you kids do these days. I spent most of the last 2 decades on lockdown.
No, said Pete plainly. Not really, we're not doing anything. Our schedule is pretty much wide open now.
Yes,
Said Eddie.
wide open.
We'd like to stick around a little bit while longer. Moaned Casey.
I don't think so.
And anyway, you owe me this, growled Pete with manic, adrenergic energy. Otherwise, I'm going to have to bring up the little matter of your outstanding bill with my father for, 5 Roxy 30s? Back from, 2.5 weeks ago? Where's the $125, Case? Huh? Where's it at? Do I gotta call him? Do I gotta call my father and tell him that you don't have the money to pay him? Yet you're sitting here on your ass buying prostitutes? Huh? You're buying prostitutes and getting head like it's going out of style? Should I do it, Casey? Should I call him up for you? Should I call him up now? Hey, you got minutes. Give me your phone for a second. I need to make a call real quick.
No,
Casey said, frowning.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't ring Amos.
It was a feeble attempt at supplication so pathetic it moved Pete. Good. I'm glad that we got that settled. I was thinking I might freak out there for a second, said Pete. His face was flushed and with blotchy red, oily looking patches that radiated from the cheeks outwards. He smiled knowingly, nervously. The minutes clicked by at an increasing pace. For a moment, he thought he may have had too big of a shot. Everything was moving too fast. He was speeding like crazy. His chest felt tight with anxiety, so tight that it hurt. It was the kind of tightness that would normally precede his panic attacks. He tried to feel some satisfaction from his smartness. Instead, he became preoccupied with a growing feeling in his chest. Then, he He did what anyone in his situation would do. He lit up a cigarette.
What's the matter with you?
Remarked Casey.
Do you see any ashtrays in here, huh? You can't smoke in here. You gotta take that outside. I only got one lung left.
I thought it was 1.5 lungs you had left. Oh, I guess I was mistaken. Pete reluctantly got up to go outside. Eddie was more cautious than he and elected to stay indoors. He did not want to smoke a cigarette that badly. It should be all right, said Pete as he closed the door behind him, taking his stinking wet bag, covered in beer, just in case someone got any funny ideas, and decided to go and try to pinch the rest of his neck. Oh, yeah.
Oh, now I remember. I saw your sister the other day, Pete.
Called Trish through the door. Oh, yeah? Pete said back through the fan in the window that was duct taped in with brown cardboard cut-up pieces of liquor boxes supporting its sides. He opted not to shout and draw more attention to himself than necessary. Pete quickly inhaled his cigarette within the span of a few minutes and bade himself entry back into the ratty apartment mere moments before a police cruiser made another pass by with the old halogen high beam cop spotlight. His unintentional timing was most unfortunate for him. It would have gotten really ugly if he lingered any longer. So, you said that you saw Cheyenne? Asked Pete. He loudly slammed the door behind him and swung around 45 degrees, swiveling on one foot, and then plopped down on the couch, sighing and brushing icy beads of stinky Met sweat from his brow. Yeah, said Trish with a curt nod, edging almost imperceptibly away from Pete. Well, is she doing all right? Nah, well, she's off the dope, if that's what you mean. Oh, that's good, that's good. And, believe it or not, she's still off the street. Oh, yeah? Well, yes and no. Yes and no? What's that supposed to mean?
On one hand, she starts slinging her ass. On the other hand, she shacked up with this dude Matt, and he's a real fucking asshole. He beats the piss out of her all the fucking time. What? He's all kinds of fucked up on Crystal. Lost his marbles about a week ago. Yeah. Chased her out of the house with a machete. So fucked up. Last I remember, she's living in a tent.
In one of the parks now. Pete screeched, angry, indecipherably, incomprehensibly. Then, after lowering his tone to one more reflective of a human being, said, I'll string him up by his nuts and beat him with a stick like a piñata.
You have to get in line there, Petey boy. I want a piece of him too after hearing what I heard.
God damn it! Did she get a new phone or something? I tried her old number last month, and it didn't work.
Yeah, you want it?
Sure, thanks, Trish, said Pete. Then he turned to Eddie and barked. Hey, get out your phone. Take this number down, if you will, my good sir. Just in case my burner goes completely to shit.
Yeah, man, sure.
Said Eddie. Pete and Eddie took out their phones. Pete didn't have any minutes, but he could still enter contact information. It's good to have your bases covered sometimes. Yes, yes it is. Casey, growing bored, fished around for the remote and switched the TV on to a rerun of 2.5 Men. It was back from when they still had Charlie Sheen doing his lecherous drunken piano man shtick before anyone knew of his other problems. The picture on the screen, which depicted Uncle Charlie in bed with what was likely another one of Alan's girlfriends or ex-lovers, quickly grew out of focus and became horribly bitmapped as a train went by and messed up the signal. A train went by here every 30 minutes, so there's that. I bet it would drive you crazy, wouldn't it? Oh, look, the train is like, that train, yeah, it's going by right now. This show's funny as shit, mentioned Casey with a scarred nub. He vehemently pointed at the picture as the reception waned and grew and fell away, seemingly of its own accord. I guess, said Pete, I don't really watch much TV. I had enough of that while I was locked up.
Well, that's good for you, Mr. High and Mighty.
Trish suddenly took a multicolored glass spoon-type bowl from her hideous leather purse, as well as a sealed stake number bag of cannabis indica that went by the name of Alaskan Thunderfuck. Then she ripped the seal on the black and orange foiled 8-ounce packet with her teeth and spat the torn Persian into her hand.
I can't watch this show without getting stoned.
She said,
You're already fucked up, said Casey.
Yeah, but I mean high on weed.
As much as Pete could have used a few hits, he reflected on the grossness of sharing spit with a random hooker, and with a different kind of sick feeling now swelling within him, he immediately discounted the prospective notion. And to make matters worse, the shadow people were crowded at the window on his right, and all along the hallway to his left. They were beginning to surround him. And that disturbed song, Voices, was stuck playing in Pete's head on a loop, overtaking the previous jazz ensemble via gradual overlap. Just when I thought they'd leave me alone, those sneaky sons of bitches. In a move that was nearly imperceptible to the eye, Pete anxiously scooted forward on the cushion until he was so far at the edge of his seat on the couch that to Eddie, he appeared to be almost levitating. It was very strange indeed. Although at least to Pete's credit, he wasn't perched up there, down on his haunches, resembling a bizarre carrion bird, like I've seen really weird people do at times. Mostly in institutional settings. In an attempt to discount Pete's weirdness, Eddie and Trish struck up a conversation. Between the both of them talking and the TV going on with all these vacuous lines of snappy dialogue, sounds, as Pete experienced them, began to get garbled. Pete noticed things were getting stranger than they should have been, but neglected to bring up the subject. Pete sat there, one sneaker crossed over the other, wobbling his knees open and closed, looking directly into the TV set, yet sharply zeroing in on any other sudden noise when they presented themselves, real or otherwise. Mostly otherwise at this point. He was stricken, racing thoughts. They were something to which Pete was indeed quite familiar, as he was bipolar to begin with. As was the old man before him, and his old man before that. A car door opened and shut outside. Pete nearly jumped out of his skin. Instead, he fell off the couch, flailing his arms and eliciting a disconcerted, exasperated cry of sudden shock. Ah!
It helps if you sit in your seat, not hanging off of it, man,
Eddie commented for reals.
Are you sure this kid's all right?
Casey asked with the mostly mild concern in his tone.
Hey, numbnuts, you think you can get the fuck off my carpet with that stank ass of yours? And that's why they won't let me back on the res.
Eddie continued, engaging in his actual real conversation that had nothing at all to do with Pete whatsoever.
No shit,
said real Trish.
that's fucked up.
In his deluded thoughts, Pete heard it as, Pete is fucked up. And his mind took it from there, running through the streets with unfurled banners. Yes, it was not long before Pete construed a conspiracy being plotted against him. We've got to get rid of him. Pete fought, Eddie said. What Eddie really said was, yeah,
I can't believe it happened again.
You see, that's what happens. The paranoid mind picks and chooses what it wants to hear, and then it continues to augment itself until the delusions psychotically spiral out of control via the snowball effect. Everyone is against you, man. Everybody. It is entirely too easy to succumb to the vortex of fear, and Pete was already in a weakened state to boot. It was over before it started, really. Over for Pete, anyway. He surprised everybody, and he suddenly shot up out of his seat, grabbed his wet backpack, and bolted out the door.
And what the hell was that?
Asked Casey, confounded. He got up and shut the door, taking care to lock it again.
I have no idea, Eddie stated. Well, that fucker's gone crazy. Maybe he's off his meds. I don't know.
Where the fuck's he going to? Absently asked Trish. Eddie turned to her and vigorously scratched off a layer of skin on the left side of his head, saying softly,
Your guess is as good as mine.
Eddie made no effort to follow. Casey began to redouble his efforts on getting his unwanted visitor the hell out of there while the Cialis was still working. Casey was ready to physically throw Eddie out the door by his collar when there came a sudden, intense thump, thump, thump at the door. And there's only one type of person that knocks like that. Yes, the police. The police had succeeded in tracking the location of their felonious quarry. After going door to door, eventually, they found a concerned neighbor who held no qualms about diming out Pete and Eddie. And this time, they meant serious business. No, I mean like really. They went all out. They had the riot gear, automatic shotguns, bulletproof seals, the whole shebang. But Eddie sensed them coming. He sensed them coming a mile away. Before shit could get too hot, he elected to preemptively make a hasty, impromptu escape. Via the bathroom window, he had to deal with a small issue of height discrepancy. They weren't exactly on the ground floor. Lucky for him, but he didn't break any bones on the way down. And that left poor old deformed Casey Digits Mankowitz pretty much by himself, aside from Trish. As indicated previously, Casey's rapport with the SPD was less than stellar. His continued rudeness and dedication to stonewalling the police quickly developed into a physical altercation with one of the officers on the scene. It got ugly, even quicker than you would have expected. Chapter 14, next old man chapter, downtown Spokane, Sprague Avenue, Friday, November 14th, 2014, 7:05 p.m. The Odyssey puttered westward down Sprague in the weekend traffic while the old man and No-Do struggled to find a decent place to park to facilitate their drug deal. It was becoming a pain in the balls for them, going up and down the array of one-way streets full of tourists, schmucks dressed up like half-assed college adjunct professors, random fiends, and of course, the omnipresent homeless rocking their cardboard panhandling signs. Can't forget about them now, can we? I mean, I'm sure you would. Everybody tries their damnedest to in this city, but not here. Not in this book. They are here, and you're going to hear about them from hell or high water.
But what the fuck?
Asked the old man.
Why is there so many fucking people out?
Well, let's see, No-Do said, cracking open another Rainier. How about it's Friday night? Well, still, the old man complained. He shifted his forearms to the steering wheel so he could still drive and light a cigarette.
They get on my nerves.
Any reason why, Pops?
I don't know, just from them being there.
I know what you mean. I get claustrophobic sometimes just from walking around this town.
But there's too many people.
This is America, man. It's America. A melting pot of shit.
You're so simple,
Said the old man.
melting pot.
That's the fondue place on fucking Main. Come here same time on a Sunday and it's a goddamn ghost town. Fucking hipsters.
Looks like a goddamn douchebag festival to me.
Half of them are probably going to go see some indie shows full of bands with fucked up 3-word names like Grease the Weasel or 3 Cheese, Apathy. And No Dose was indeed right about that. Most of these cool people were here to see a band called the Disillusioned Rocket Ship Vibrators, who were a very popular trio despite sounding exactly like a castrated, stripped down Steely Dan meets Lady Gaga fusion of tepid, wannabe, indie pop dog shit. It's important to stay cool, folks. No Dose twirled an invisible mustache and stroked a long spectral beard and then deepened his voice to better lampoon the hipster saying, I came for the indie show, stayed for the craft beer. My name is Robert Goulet, and I'm here in the Stardust Lounge all night, singing for you fine people. The sheer volume of waxed beards and black-framed glasses traipsing the street were staggering. We cannot forget about the pork pie hats. No, we cannot forget about the goddamn pork pie hats. Luckily, though, they were somewhat balanced out by the women, mostly traveling together in groups, ranging from 2 to 20, doing the best to ignore those mostly seated on the sides of the roads, at the curbs, over by the dumpsters, those who were the true subjects of this book. Yes, and it was they who jeered and whistled and yelled and tried to hustle money and loose cigarettes from the swarm of weekend hipster honkies. Here were transients, tweakers, trannies, drunks and drifters, degenerate perverts, vampires, not like Twilight though, think more like Blade with Wesley Snipes, among others. Hey, I see vampires around town sometimes, I see them, I point them out. It did not help that many of those on the streets at night did not think that crosswalks were a thing. Slender men with short cropped hair and feathered beards jaywalked like a motherfucker. One could ascertain who they were. They walked normally across the street. Now the others were a tad different. The old alcoholics and ancient bums with shopping carts. How they jaywalked. Their movements were at a snail's pace, almost as if they wanted to get hit. And boy, do a lot of vagabonds get run over in this city. Lastly, with the speed freaks, they ran or rode their bikes across the city as quickly as possible, though it was usually in a jerky pattern that did not follow in a straight line by any means. No, many of them zigzagged, but one thing almost all of them had in common were the dark colors. Because what better to illegally cross the street with but in dark colors at night? I hate these idiots, yelled an old man, honking the horn angrily and leaning out the window. You want I should run the fucks? You run you the fucks over your sons of bitches? Sure, go ahead, said No Dose, who was once again adding to things that he really shouldn't have added to. If that's what you want to do, but before you start killing people, you can kind of give me a heads up so I can kind of not to be a party to any, I don't know, vehicular felonies, you know, those kinds of things. Oh, really? Is that a fact? Bah, you Canadians are all like pussies. Try saying that at a Flames game, buddy. And who the fuck are they? I don't follow hockey, bud. Nothing but Canadian soccer to me. Calgary and Alberta, hockey, Calgary and Alberta. Hockey ain't fucking soccer either. Ah, it's all the same to me, the old man crumbled, hawkish eyes starting from left to right, scanning the streets for a spot that was open as well as at the minimum mildly discreet. Can't find a fucking parking space to save my shitty life. I have another rainier and quick belly aching. I ain't in no hurry. The old man greatly shot his gaze over to No Dose. What No Dose saw within those ugly black and red orbs was a maelstrom of egregious impertinence that caused him promptly to shrink away in favor of self-preservation. Well, maybe I am, said the old man, and turned back to the road. You know, I'm just trying to be friendly over here. No Dose spat back. putting an exceptionally Canadian accent on the first letter of over to Louisville. Just trying to be friendly over here. Shut the fuck up! Yelled the old man, glowering with brow furrowed. I see a spot! What? Huh? The old man cut the wheel, the Odyssey fishtailed, and nearly flipped over. No-Dose was thrown to the left, out of his seat, spilling beer all across his pants. Plenty more where that came from. There was one thing to remember, though. The old man knew instinctively what he was doing, and it's anyone's guess how he managed to parallel park that piece of shit without causing any damage to property. Onlookers had witnessed an instance that seemed to defy the laws of physics, but most of them were too drunk or stoned to think about it much. The old man, unfazed by his apparently amazing parking abilities, looked cautiously to his left.
Want this?
Huh? Not right now. Okay. He looked cautiously to his left and to his right before obtaining the orange prescription bottle of opiates. So, wait, said the old man, fiddling with the childproof cap. His darting eyes seemed to suggest that No-Dose may have brought someone with him, or perhaps that something, was in the back of the camper with them.
How much was it did you want?
Moaned No-Dose, his brain still rattling in his head from the near crash.
You only put 40 in the glove.
Oh, then give me $40 worth.
God damn it, No-Dose, you're fucking up.
Sorry. The old man held up the pills to the dim light emanating from the visor and shook the bottle once.
Yeah, we should be good. Come on, dumbass.
He got up and passed through a thin moldering curtain to the back of the Odyssey. All right, you old fuck, said No-Dose. He swiftly got up and followed. And if you think he put his beer down to facilitate this, then you don't know Canadian hockey fans.
One thing I'm wondering is,
said the old man as he looked around for a hard, flat, relatively clear surface. Where's the cat? Said No-Dose as he inched past the old man and sat on Pete's bed.
No, but now that you mention it, yeah, Hitler's gone. Now, how about that? Where's my cat? What I was going to say is, before you fuck me up,
the old man said, stopping once, he found a suitable surface, a small white plastic cutting board with a handle.
What I was going to say is, why the fuck would you come to the States when you could buy codeine over the counter in Maple Leaf country?
Blurted No-Dose. His knee was getting fairly fidgety. You know how it is. Buy some drugs, meet the wrong people, you get into some trouble. Before you know it, you're owing money to people all over town. And someone rips you off, and you're so pissed, and you're so drunk, you figure you have to retaliate somehow. And then you do. And suddenly, the shit has hit the fan in a big way. And you gotta get the fuck out.
Yeah, I know how that is. Happened to me a few times. Wait, does that make you an illegal immigrant?
No comment.
So, yes?
Now, if you want to get technical.
You goddamn Canadians make the skin of my balls crawl.
The old man removed two minuscule round blue tablets from the bottle. He handed one to No-Dose.
There's one.
The old man took the other one and broke it apart into two hemispherical sections.
Here, said the old man, you can have half.
Oh, come on, $40 or 45 milligrams. You call that a deal?
$5 more, bitch.
Fuck it, said No-Dose. He put the half chunk in his cigarette pack, which he would surely lose if the piece was so tiny, and the other pill on the cutting board. He promptly began working at it with his Canadian driver's license. Just in case you were wondering, America, it was laminated. While No-Dose accomplished his ends, the old man, who after checking to see if the coast was clear, removed a panel from the ceiling and grabbed his bulbous glass meth pipe, as well as a small handheld butane torch. Nodo saw the old man, and what he was doing out of the corner of his field of vision was taken aback. "No, I ain't doing any of that shit," he said.
I didn't say it was for you.
Replied the old man. Nah, fuck that.
You pussy.
Nodo's increased the speed at which he crushed the pill and cut it out into 2 smallish lines. Seeing that blowtorch had rubbed him the wrong way. But really, what did he expect? Kittens and sunshine? Unicorns shitting rainbows? Jesus handing out free candy and suitcases full of cash to all the children in the world? Come on. He was dealing with the old man here. With that in mind, Nodo's rolled up a dollar bill and snorted the lines as quickly as possible. "I should be going," he said, as he heard the ominous click of the blue butane torch. He turned and saw the little blue flame bathing the end of the glass bowl. The bottom turned opaque with amphetamine residue, sizzling and popping. The old man simply stood there sucking on the other end until his COPD wrapped lungs filled with acrid smoke, smell of old garage, rancid cat piss. The old man exhaled a plume of corrosive death and offered the pipe to Nodo's. "Come on," he said, hacking. "You know you wanna. Man, I've been clean off that shit for close to a year now, man." He tipped his head back with a sniffle, his face reddening quickly, and he horked back a bit of powder. "You're lost, Bobby," said the old man before taking another long hit. "This is the good shit." "Yeah, well, define good."
Better than the stuff I've been cooking up lately, if you can believe it.
The back of the Odyssey filled with a musty yellowish haze. But don't put out an awful lot of smoke. Way more than normally things usually do. Normal things like crack cocaine and hashish, PCP and opium. Yes, very normal things, indeed. "Smells like someone pissed in some shit," Nodo's remarked. Chapter